having a system within the system to benefit me.
You know what? I like that phrase, a system within a system. Clearly that is what we Americans that have been disenfranchised need, a system within a system. And one of the systems that I saw the Panthers put in place was the children's breakfast, the monitoring the making sure children could cross the streets safely after school, making sure that there wasn't police brutality, monitoring the activities of the police. And I was reading the book today. I tell you, if you get a chance, again, I'm not trying to sell this book or advertise this book, but it was so motivating to me. This book, Panther, it was so motivating, Samuel, and to see your story in there and what you were involved in. It was a little bit before my time, but I certainly wanted to do it. But again, our hats are off to you. We have so much respect for brothers like yourself who made it through the struggle, and who, first of all, more importantly, had the courage to stand up. Why is it that brothers and sisters aren't standing up for what they believed in? Everybody seems to be on someone's payroll or something. What happened?
We can very a good area of focus was the opinion and the stance that the Federal Bureau of Investigation or the law enforcement community took, or the vision that they had of us was that we were the most volatile, most dangerous group in America at that time, and that we posed a major threat to democracy.
Now, why, excuse me for cutting you off, Samuel, but why would, like we don't know, why would law enforcement, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and we know as the FBI, and why would these law enforcement entities consider the Black Panthers to be a threat, the #1 threat to the country?
Basically, it boiled down that our experience has been that the law enforcement area of our government are the people that enforce or protect the oppression that has gone on with regards to African Americans and minorities in America. The law enforcement group that unfairly focuses on African American youth and African American organizations because they represent the potential for change.
Wow. Now, you know what? Right there, representing the potential for change. I guess that's where people had a lot of fear about Obama being elected, because of the gross potential for change. I was reading that it said, speaking of the potential for change, said in the summer of 1966, had a profound impact on the American youth. When the students returned to school in September, many formed study groups and black student unions, which they called BSUs, to find out why the information had been deliberately kept secret. What information had been deliberately kept secret? African historical truths, traditions, culture, language, as well as African American accomplishments. Not even to mention the accomplishments of Africans and people of African descent. I mean, Africans that people of African descent descended from. And so through forming the black student unions, I noticed that the Black Panthers felt that they could work with the black student unions. Was that because they were also aware of change and they were educated? How does education play in?
Many of your black students were Black Panthers also. We joined organizations, and we became parts of institutions that during the 60s were considered enemies because they represented change to America. Another probably hidden factor of this is that the Black Panthers party was against racism. Including the racism that victims often have against the master, as the master appears to only be of one area. We feel that all people are equal and they should be treated equal, and to look at one race as a source of oppression is not exactly fair.
Well put. Very well put. And you know, I read something, I read in the book Panther, it said that Huey and you Panthers started the Junior Panthers, and you encouraged them not to hate white people because the Panthers, again, weren't racist, but to learn to love themselves. See, we don't have to worry about hating one race. What we have to worry about is loving ourselves enough. And that, I think, would apply to any race of people. Would you agree?
I think that's a healthy disposition. Learning to love yourself. You know, we were victims of a major experiment that dehumanized us as
What
people.
is that major experiment?
Slavery. Slavery, a major scientifically enforced experiment.
And that dehumanized us how?
A good example of how this was designed to dehumanize us is the Willie Lynch letters. Willie Lynch, just the term lynch.
Now, I heard of Willie Lynch. Is that real, Samuel? Is that an actual factual document?
Willie Lynch was a person that was almost a consultant for racist oppression, racist oppressors, plantation owners, and the like.
So now, is this the Willie Lynch? What, he was like a consultant. So what they do? The plantation owners brought him in, and what did he do? He
epitomized the philosophy that was involved, that was probably included to keep people oppressed.
Okay, and where did he learn? Where did he come from? Didn't he come from Europe somewhere?
Well, lynching. What does that mean? What does that mean? Why does that matter? Lynching. That's
a strong word. That is his name.
That's his name.
Oh. Okay, yeah. And so, what, I want to get back to drugs a little bit because, you know, we're from Bayview Hunters Point. Our community has been devastated by drugs. And what role did drugs play in does the Black Panthers, are they still in existence, or have drugs, some people feel that drugs were that you were infiltrated.
The Black Panthers.
Were you infiltrated?
We know that there was moves to disrupt the change that was coming about as a result of our efforts. We know that and it has been proven that the government actually introduced agents and drugs to our community to destroy. It was not there to enhance anyone.
Now,
no one
drugs
has come out of this. Drugs have only three endings: jails, institutions, and death.
Right. Now, how would you made a statement earlier, and I'd really like you to say it again for our audience. That statement you made about a drug addict is the best agent, or how did you say that? You said
Panther Party spoke out against having people that were addicted to drugs. If two of us were arrested and one was an addict, he would surely become an ally of the oppressor if his drugs were taken away from him.
Why would he become an ally?
Because he would be sick without his drugs.
Okay, and he would
flip.
Give it up.
Flip on you.
He'd tell any and everything that he knew.
Right.
Okay. So wow. So drugs did a double bang. Not only did it take the warriors out, but it also caused infiltration.
We called it germ warfare.
Germ warfare.
Results of germ warfare. Same principle as the smallpox in the blanket syndrome.
Okay. Oh.
Same thing that happened to destroy our American Indians.
Okay. And you know what? Let me get back to what we want, which is a statement that was that's in the Panther book, and I want to talk about before we end. Talk about a few of these things. Here. We want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our black community. Do you know that here we are in 2000? Well, you know, but here we are in 2009, and we are still struggling to have to determine the destiny of our own community. We in Bayview Hunters Point, we can't determine the destiny of our own community. Someone's calling. Let me see who's calling in. Oh, okay. Hi, reSurgence TV. What's your question?
I just would like to say that due to your question earlier,